Hello and welcome. I'm just getting things set up here. We're going to start the show at 8 o'clock, which is 2 minutes from now. And tonight we're going to talk about how easy it is really to set up your own web presence for your business. It's not nearly as intimidating as people think. I mean, you certainly can go all out, not stopping you from doing that. But if you just want to do what we've been talking about and just creating that one place on the internet that you can point everybody to, that will then point them to all the other things that you offer, you can do this very simply. I'm going to show you 3 different options that you've got. So it doesn't have to be intimidating. And then you can always build off of it over time. It's just really important to create that one page. So we have to wait because we have to wait for Facebook to catch up. So this is going to be my chance to kind of just make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Make sure everything is up and working, all that kind of good stuff. And see, this is why I do this, because you don't need to hear me twice. And also to invite you to invite other people. If you know of any other people who would benefit from this information, please invite them to the party. The more the merrier. And as always, if you have other questions about technology, you can feel free to go ahead and ask us too. I just bring a topic so we have something to talk about. All right, so it looks like we are getting there, and Facebook is seconds away from joining us, which will be all kinds of awesome. All righty. Hope everybody's having a good one, right? We're almost through the week, right? Thursday is a big day. I know everybody talks about hump day, but for me, Thursday's the mark. It's like I make it through Thursday. I have all my meetings on Thursday. Not all, but it feels like it's like an all-day meeting. And then I know one more day and I've got my weekend, which is great because that gives me a chance to create new stuff for you fine folks. All right, so let me make sure. Yes, it looks like Facebook has joined us. Great. Hi. So this is just sort of the pre-show stuff. We're going to be talking tonight about how easy it can be to set up that one-page website that can be your central location on the internet. It makes it real easy for people to find you, for you to recommend that people go check it out, for people to share it, all that kind of good stuff, all that stuff we all need, right? So we are going to dive in on that and get this ball rolling. All righty. Are we ready? Is everybody ready? You got your copy of coffee or tea or water? If you invited everybody you want to invite, yes, we're good. All right, let's do the intro and we will dive in. Oops. Hello and welcome. My name is Kathleen and I'm here as your tech coach. Basically what that means is technology is my day gig. It's also my hobby. So I tend to be the person that everybody turns to in my world when they need advice, when they have questions, all that kind of good stuff. And I realize not everybody has somebody like that in their life, so that's why I do this show. I bring a topic every Thursday, but you are always welcome to ask your own tech questions. Please don't hesitate. Throw them into chat and we will jump in and answer those also. All right, so tonight we are talking about, and I didn't update the topic key, so we won't use that, 3 easy ways to create that single point for your business on the internet that you have complete control over, mainly a web page. Literally, you can do it with one page, but you don't have to be restricted by that. You can put as much information out there as you want, but you need to get started. You need to have it out there. We're going to talk about all the reasons why and how easy it can be. Hopefully you've watched some of the previous shows. If not, you know that I have referenced this a fair amount because it's really important that you have that one place so that when somebody says, where can I find you? You don't go, well, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. You just say, go to this website and everything will be answered for you. It's so much simpler and it's also better for SEO. Very important. Alrighty, let's dive in. I think we are all ready. Yes. Hi, John. Good to see you. Alrighty. Magic button, magic button. Probably do the one without. There we go. See? So 3 easy ways for you to create your business web presence. Really does not have to be intimidating, hard, or expensive. Okay, I'm back. I'm down here. Not really centered well, but that's okay. We'll work around that. Okay, so why is a website important, right? You figure, well, you know, everybody tells me all I need to do is be on Facebook, or I just need my Instagram account, or whatever, right? I mean, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of opinions about it. The reason that this is important is because it gives you a central point of contact for your employees, your customers, your clients, your vendors. Plus, it also helps you in a lot of other ways. So, for example, having a website builds your business credibility and legitimacy. There's something about at this point, all your customers are online, right? All your clients are online, your vendors are online. So their first point of research is going to be their phone, their tablet, their Chromebook, whatever it is that they prefer to use. But because they're online, they expect you to be online. And not being online kind of makes it feel like, at this point in time, that like you're not fully committed to your business, or maybe you're not up to date on things. There's a lot of negative connotations to not having it. There's no reason to not have one, because you can do it literally for free or cheap. But it does help your business seem more solid, more real, more tangible. Even if they never actually deal with you in person, it makes you seem more legitimate, more real. Also, and this is a big thing, it makes it so much easier for your happy customers, clients, and vendors to share you with any of their family, friends, coworkers, customers. Because that is really the internet word of mouth, right? Somebody says, hey, I'm looking for this. Do you know anybody? And they go, oh yeah, I work with so-and-so. They're great. They do exactly what you need. How do I get in touch with them? Well, I think they're on Facebook. I might have their email address around. No, you can just say domainname.com, .net, whatever. And it's so easy for them to find you. And then you can connect everything else to do it, which we will talk about. But the whole point here is that you have a single point on the internet that everybody can point to, everybody can look, everybody can get the information directly from you, where they're not distracted by other things, right? If you think about when people go to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, you're not the feature, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. There's all kinds of other stuff on that page, right? There's other stories, there's pictures, there's videos, there's ads, there's all kinds of other things, right? And you are a little voice, no matter how big your company is, on those places, you are a little voice inside of a very large crowd. Your website is you. It's exactly how you want to present yourself to your customers, to your clients, what you want to say, how you want to say it, what you want to feature, without all those other distractions. And it has the bonus of, you can say, hey, here's what I want to tell you. Here's how I want to present everything. And by the way, if you want to see our Twitter account, our Instagram account, our Facebook account, you can have all of those links there for them. But it is that one place where they go, where they're completely focused on you and what you have to offer them. What's not to love about that, right? So that's really important. And it gives you then another way for word of mouth, for new people to find you. You have a much better chance of people finding you during a Google, Bing, whatever search engine, DuckDuckGo, whatever search engine they like. Much better chance of being found if you have a website than if you don't. Why is that? Well, Facebook is a walled garden, okay? Whatever you put into Facebook is not exposed to the search engines. So you may be putting awesome content out there. You may be getting all kinds of great reviews in there, but it's not searchable from the outside, okay? And not everybody has a Facebook account. And I keep retesting this because I still can't believe it's true, but people are not necessarily going to find you on Facebook. I know, it seems weird, but it's true. So here's the thing. I have a couple of test cases that I use. So, right, you all know about Mr. Murphy. Is he in his bed? Let me see if he's in his bed. Probably not. He's never in his bed when I want him to be. But anyway, so I have a dog walker that comes for him on a regular basis, mainly because he likes that consistency, and I need a backup for the times that maybe I can't be here for him. I know that they are in the same town I'm in. I know that they have a Facebook account, and I know that they actively update it. However, when I go to Facebook and I search for dog walkers near me, they don't come up. They've never come up. I found them through word of mouth of neighbors. Seems insane, right? But that's how it is. Same thing goes for our groomer. Now, I have been using our groomer for years. I used for my first dog. I've used with Murphy. She's just all kinds of awesome. And she comes to the house. It's a great deal. Same thing. When I search for dog groomers, okay, not even mobile dog groomers, but just dog groomers near me, doesn't come up. If I do dog groomers, in like the state, it doesn't come up. So yes, I'm not saying don't have a Facebook presence, because you do need to have one, but you can't rely on that for findability. A website you can. Okay, if you put your website out there, give it a little time for the engines to find you, then when people do searches for you, there you go. They're going to come up if they do a near me, or if they do a search for your specialty or whatever. Now you're findable. Now you're not invisible. Now people can find out where you are, which means new clients, new business, right? Everybody wants that. It is also the place where you can focus in and educate your clients and customers about your brand, your products, your services in the way that you like to present that information, using the terminology that they're going to be comfortable with. Try to stay away from the jargon unless you're doing a business-to-business thing where the jargon's okay. But do it the way that you would explain it to somebody if you were sitting next to them, at the kids' baseball game. Opening day, yay! I'm just a little excited. Opening day is always a big day for me. You can decide to showcase certain things, and then change that out over time if you want. And it can provide social proof. So you can actually post, if you have happy customers who are willing to give you recommendations, or maybe have already on Facebook, you check with them first, say, is it okay with you if I put this on my website? Because that also helps to feed that know, like, and trust that people need before they're going to be comfortable doing business with somebody they haven't met before. Met in person or online, it's the same rules. That's just the way people are. So the whole key here is that you want to have this website. Again, it doesn't have to be more than one page. Do not get overwhelmed by this. Totally go for more if you want, but you only need one page. That's it, one page. But that should become the center of all of your online marketing. It should become the center of how you market yourself. And then from there, you can put the links to all the other things that you have out there. All right, I'm just checking my list. That's good. Okay. So let's keep going here. So what do you need to create your website, right? What are the magic pieces that create a website? Now, you've been to websites, but you probably never thought about how that all works. And there's kind of a little bit of magic involved. But basically what you need is a domain name, hosting, and content. The domain name is what you type into the address bar. So like for my site, it's yourtechcoach.net, right? Google, it's google.com. Whatever your favorite sites are. Facebook, it's facebook.com. That's the domain name. Really what that equates to in the background, I won't get too deep, I promise. But that reference actually gets a unique ID attached to the back of it that the internet then understands, oh, okay, this person's asking for this, let's take them there. Hosting is space on somebody's server so that people can get your content. Now, some people do host their own, but that's a whole other discussion and very technical and complicated. So for our purposes here, right, the hosting is just where you're going to put your images, your content, your logo, your words, so that they can be served up through the internet when somebody puts in your domain name. And then, of course, content. Content is just whatever text you want to put out there, whatever images. If you have video is very good, very strong. But again, you don't have to have that to start with, but it's just whatever you want to put out there to let people know who you are and why they should take a look at you. Okay. So how do you do this? There's basically 3 options out there. Okay, so for the purposes of our conversation, keeping it simple, there's actually thousands of options out there, but we're going to talk about 3. Okay, we're going to talk about Blogger, WordPress, and Squarespace. Now we're going to start with Blogger because it is the magic price. It is free. Now Blogger is a service from Google. I'm going to bring it up right now. I should probably do this way. Incognito. Okay. And what you can do here is for free, literally for free. You just search for Blogger or go to blogger.com. Okay, you create an account, you pick a template, you get a free domain name for if you want to use the Blogspot, which I'll explain in a second, or you can buy a custom domain through them, which now used to be that you had to go one place to get your domain name, you had to go another place to get your hosting, and then you had to get like a piece of software to pull it all together. But now, most of these services will do it all for you in one spot, which makes life much easier on us. So you can do this totally for free with Blogger if you're okay with your URL being whatever you want it to be, blogger.com, so blogspot.com. Or you can pay for a custom one if you want to feel a little bit more professional. You can run ads on it, all this kind of stuff. So it is very, very simple. And all you do is you come in here and you say create. And then you can put in, I've already got one, so I won't go through all this, but you just have to sign up or create an account if you don't already have a Google account, and then you can start to work on it. Let me bring mine up. I'm going to switch to one that doesn't have stuff in it yet. So, once you go in, and we'll talk about something in a minute that cracks me up every time I look at this, but the first thing you have to do is figure out what you want your name to be. okay, how you want people to find you, and that's what you're going to put in here. And so it will walk you through the process step by step. We're not going to go through the whole thing tonight. I can do that on another night if you'd like me to. But basically, hey Jason, basically it's going to just walk you through everything. It's going to make it very simple, very clear. Just, sorry, I forgot to bring up Periscope so I could get the comments. There we go. And you're just going to step by step through it. And again, it's free. The only thing that you might choose to pay for if you go through Blogger is a custom domain name. And the difference between that is having a blogspot.com URL or u.com or u.net or however you want to do that. So that is the first piece. The second one, so I should just, there's no problem using Blogger, and it is a great way to get started very quickly. Actually, I'll go one step farther with this. I don't want to go into a full Blogger how-to thing, but I will just show you that when you go to work in it, you can do it one of two ways. We'll go in. So this is a really old account that I have. And actually, we'll just go back one sec. Ignore all that right now. So you can see you've got the list. I really haven't used this in a long time, but you've got all of the postings that you've done. You can see these numbers over here with the little eyeball, how many people who'd seen it. If there were any comments are missing with it. That's part of the Google Plus conversation. If you're curious about that, you can go back and watch that show. I think we're all tired about talking about that right now. But you can go in and you can choose your layout, your theme. The other nice thing about all the options I'm going to show you tonight is it will work with websites that people are using on their desktop, on a tablet, or on a Chromebook, on mobile devices. You don't have to worry about either building different sites for different ones or knowing how to code anything. All the templates that they provide for you that you can select from automatically adjust depending on the device people are using, which is a huge weight off. That used to be a big deal to try to manage, and it's so simple now. So you can just come in, you can pick your template, you can change it later if you don't like it anymore, you just want to change it up. You can customize what's here. You can add, they have what they call gadgets, which is different functionality, different little blocks you can add, but it really is just click, add, drag things around until you get it the way you want it. It is very straightforward. It also offers some insights into who has visited, where they visited from, how many visits you've had, all that kind of good stuff. So right out of the door, right, without having to set up an analytics account or do anything, you can just go to blogger.com, pick a template, put your logo on it, well, pick a template, figure out what you want your name to be, which is usually your business name, whatever, and then pick a template, put some words on it, maybe throw your logo, maybe a picture of your shop or your goods or services, and you're good. You're good to go already, and people can start visiting it right away. All right. So before I go into WordPress, let me just check in with the universe here. Okay, we're good. Hang on one second. I'm very happy it's spring, but there is a price to be paid. Allergies, yay! Alrighty, so WordPress. So, okay. You're going to hear, if you ask for advice from people, you're going to hear a lot of people mention WordPress. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up. I swear I did not pay John to say this. So John says, don't go to WordPress for a website, please. It isn't worth all the issues you have to deal with that others just take care of automatically. I swear I didn't pay John to say that, but that's exactly where I'm about to go. But let's in all transparency, let's talk about WordPress because it is out there. There are a lot of people that are using it. It is something that you will hear if you ask people for advice. All facts, right? I no longer recommend WordPress, okay? That's just me because I have had too many customers end up in tears, men and women, because something went wrong and they lost everything. It's also more complex than it needs to be for a lot of people. I'm gonna make a recommendation. If you do want to go WordPress, there is a better way to do it. But most people, when they do it, they go to a hosting company. GoDaddy pops into my mind for no reason right now, but something like that, right? And then you pay for them for hosting, you pay them for a domain name, you pay them for WordPress access. They will kind of help you set it up. They will, but not for free. There's a lot of upsell for all these things as far as doing that. And then it turns out when you go and you try to add a little bit of stuff to it, like I showed you in Blogger, how like you can add these blocks, you can put like your Twitter feed in there and all this other stuff. It's just a click and add. When you get into the WordPress world, then you have to go and find plugins. Plug them in, make them work. And it starts to get more technical, more complex very quickly. And then you get into security issues, because if you don't keep the plugins up to date, they become vulnerable. Or if the person who you got the plugin from doesn't keep it up for date, it's vulnerable. So this is what I mean. Like, there's levels of complication that you get into WordPress very quickly. There are people who do their own hosting of it. Like I said, you can go to a regular hosting service. They very often have it. But like, for example, I picked up a client a couple of years ago that I just do very basic updates for them. They like put a newsletter up every month, that kind of thing, update their calendar. And they were using WordPress. So I was like, look, I'm not going to like redo your whole WordPress thing unless you want to like take it someplace else. We could do that. But if you just want me to update, that's what we'll do. And that's what they wanted to do. Well, we started having problems the end of last year. Okay, I was able to work around them. I was able to get some support, even though technically I'm not on the account, we were able to work some things out. And then finally, I think it was January, it just died. The site stayed up, but I could no longer update anything. Anything I tried to get into was throwing all kinds of errors. The people that I was doing this site for, they are not technical. They don't understand what was going on. And it created a problem, because I understood what was going on. I knew what the issues were, but their hosting service, and rightfully so, wouldn't work with me because I'm not the one paying for the site. When I tried to bring in the client, it just escalated. It just escalated so fast, and it took us almost 6 weeks to get it fixed, which meant that there were several weeks when the site was not updated and the information that their audience relies on was not available. So this is why, and this is not, I don't not recommend it because of that one time. I don't recommend it because that's like the 1,000th time that's happened to me. And that's only a slight exaggeration. It's like sooner or later, it always seems to go bad. Okay, so we'll bring up here. So Jason says, WordPress has a bunch of plugins. Can you use plugins with other sites like Squarespace? So here's the thing. So like with Blogger, you don't need to get other plugins because they've got the functionality for you. You can just pick and choose what you want to add. With Squarespace, it's the same thing. They have the stuff there for you. So you don't need to go anyplace else. It's all there. And we'll get into more about that in a minute. Jason says, I stopped adding plugins to WordPress after I reached 5. It's a lot to keep track of and update. And that's just it. And the whole point of tonight's conversation is keeping it simple, keeping it easy, keeping it cheap. There are all kinds of options when you want to layer on, when you want a more complex site, and you will at some point, and we can have that discussion another night, but that's exactly why I'm really hesitating to recommend WordPress to you. I'm only bringing it up because I know you're going to hear it from other people, and I just want you to know both sides about it, because I want you to be making the best decision for you, okay? So just because I said I don't recommend it doesn't mean you shouldn't use it at all. Okay, there's a lot of people, and maybe you have people in your world who are really strong on WordPress and willing to help you. Awesome. Go make use of those resources. I'm just saying that if you are doing this on your own cold and you don't want to hassle, you might not want to go there. You might want to go either with Blogger or with Squarespace, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, so if you do choose to use WordPress, okay, and it's not a bad choice. Many people do. What I do recommend is if you want to go down that path, do not go to somebody like GoDaddy or, why am I not coming up with any host names right now? I don't know, but you know, website hosting companies. Don't go down that route. It gets very expensive very quickly. If you really want to do WordPress, then I recommend, for the simple, cleanest way to do it, go to WordPress.com and use them directly. They will help you get the domain name. They will do the hosting for you, and at least you're in their world. And they do let you do a free version if you want to kind of get up to date on it. If you want to be comfortable with it, or you can go in and start paying every month. Now, as a business, technically you should be using the premium. They will, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one here. at least premium. A lot of people are going to say, well, you can get by using the personal stuff, and you can until you need help from them. They don't like it when you're using the personal level services for businesses. They really prefer that you go here, and it's really not horribly expensive. So like, $8 a month, free domain for 1 year. So that's the thing, when you are buying a domain now with WordPress and with Squarespace, you do have to buy a domain. Okay, there's not the option like there is in Blogger to do it completely for free. So you will have that one expense of creating your domain name. And with this, and with Squarespace too, I think still, we'll check in a minute, they kind of wrap that into the first year of service, and then after that, if you want to maintain the site, you'll just have to renew it every year, and they make that very simple for you. They tell you when it's time to do that, all that kind of stuff. They've got the themes. They automatically give you Jetpacker, which is sort of the default package of plugins for WordPress. I can feel people's eyes glazing over just as I'm talking about plugins. I understand. But if you are going to do this, then please do it through the WordPress.com site. Now, I am saying this, they don't pay me. They don't have an affiliate program that I know of. If they did, I wouldn't sign up for it anyway. But I'm saying this because I have found that this is probably the most streamlined way to do it. It is certainly the most cost-effective way to do it. So if you are going to use WordPress, please go and try it this way before you try anything else. If you decide later that you want to change it, there are ways that you can carry over from this into the other environments, because it is still all WordPress. Okay. I think I don't want to go any deeper on that because it gets really complicated really fast. But I just wanted to make sure that we covered that and that it's out there. Okay. So the one that I do recommend, if you're not going to go with a blogger kind of thing, if you're not looking to do it for absolutely free, Squarespace is the service that I have been recommending to people for a while now. I use it myself, so I'm not just saying that because I read a good article about them. I have been actually using them for a while. I have used them with clients for a while, and I have been very satisfied with their services. So let me just bring up their site. No, I don't want the login. I want here, let's do. I want the promo page. There we go. Here's the promo page. So, just like what we had talked about with, I need to move this here. Maybe I'll lose my picture. Hang on a second. There we go. Just like I talked about with the others, they have templates, they have all kinds of functionality that you can choose to use or not. So that's sort of the plugin idea, but basically it's turning on or off functionality depending on what you want. They are very business focused. Their templates, quite frankly, are beautiful and functional, and just like, and I'm just going to rehash here, for all of the things that we've talked about tonight, the templates that you select will automatically work on mobile, on tablets, on touch devices, on traditional desktops, so you don't have to worry about any of that. It all just flows perfectly the way it needs to. They have an extensive catalog of templates, and you can test drive them. You can, play with them however you want until you get it the way you want it. You can buy your domain name from them, all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to bring up my world. Let's see. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. Sorry. No, maybe this is not. Yeah, let's go back. We'll actually use the site for this show. So again, they will, as you go in and you start to create a new one, actually, I'll just walk you through this. As they walk you through everything, they show you, that you can set up your domain name. They help you buy it. You can go through and pick your template. You can keep changing your template until you find the one you like, and even later on, then you can go change it. Then over here is how you manage everything. You get your pages, you can change your design. To start off with, with the, the one page that we're talking about. I'm sorry, John, I didn't even see this. I like to talk about Squarespace. She's more about it I do. I've talked to you about it, so you can actually back me up, right? If I say anything that isn't true, then you peg me and you say, no, that's a lie. they've got all this kind of stuff. You can start off with a one-pager like we've been talking about, your business name, who you are, how to find you, how to contact you, what your goods and services are. And then again, you can layer on it later on. You can add e-commerce stuff to it. They get marketing stuff. They've got built-in analytics. It's very straightforward. And when you go in to manage things, you can have as many pages as you want or not. You can do one page if you want. It is very straightforward. And I forgot, let me bring up the pricing page. And you'll see that the pricing is very similar to what you saw on WordPress. So again, they offer a personal one. As a business, they would prefer that you use the business one. I started out with the personal one for my business. I'll be full disclosure here, because I was really bootstrapping it. But then it was real simple to move it over to business. And when I did have questions for them and all that, they did not really give me a hard time. They just recommended upgrading. And you can see the difference here. But it's really just, for just the website part of it, it's, $18 a month, and they give you all kinds of cool stuff. Then if you do decide later on that you want to add the e-commerce stuff into it, the price goes up. Now, this is not an addition thing, so it's not like you would pay $18 and then have to add $26 to it. You would just upgrade, and it would be $26 a month, or $40 a month if you really get into it. But you don't have to start off there. You start off with this. And as I said, you don't have to start paying. You don't pay a dime with Squarespace until you actually are ready to go live. So when you go in, let me see, can I just create a new one real quick? Create a site. So when you go through the process and like you're kind of playing with this idea and all that, now I will say, don't get too lost in the creation thing. Like, create your one page, get something up there. That's really important. But you can come in here and you can pick whatever template you want that kind of fits the vibe for whatever it is that you're providing. Maybe you're a band, maybe you provide professional services. You can go in here and you can preview the template and see what comes with it and how it looks and how other people have been using it to kind of get a feel for it. But you can go in, like if you pick this and you start with this design, you can just start testing it out, moving things around, mucking with it as much as you want, and you don't pay for it until you are ready to have it out there in the public, which I think is a huge benefit over another huge benefit over WordPress. And with Blogger, you have sort of a window before you have to hit the publish button. But with this one, like, you can do it. You can come back in a couple of days and play with it some more. You can test it yourself on different devices. It gives you a special URL so you can take a look at it and see how it's going to work. And then once you're ready, because it gives you now it's 185 days of a free trial. And then when you're ready to publish it, you say upgrade now and you pick your plan and boom, you are live. So it is all kinds of awesome. It really is. Their tech support has been phenomenal. Their level of service is phenomenal. They are very dedicated to give you the best possible experience. And like I said, everything is mobile friendly. They all rate pretty good on accessibility now. Not as high as I'd like, but good. And so it'll resize on all the devices. It gives you everything you need. The other benefit that Squarespace has over the other two is when you load images. Again, I'm not going to get too complicated, but basically, if you think about it, like if you have a photographer come in, or you take a big, beautiful picture, which, I mean, you can right from here, of your shop or your product, or, you out doing the service, that you provide, you can create a beautiful, huge HD file on this, right? But when somebody is viewing your site and your content through their mobile device, they may not have the bandwidth for that big, beautiful picture, right? Squarespace automatically, when you upload photos, it checks to see, okay, this is the photo that goes on this page, this is the device that somebody is viewing it on, and they adjust the photo to download faster and to not be larger than it needs to be for viewing on that device. I won't go more complicated than that, but I will tell you that's magic, okay? The other, like in my day job, when companies want to do this for like their e-commerce site or their website or their web tools, they generally have to go and buy a third-party tool that costs literally thousands of dollars a month in order to get this service that Squarespace just gives you for free. It's all kinds of wonderful. It works better for your customers then because there's no lag time as they're trying to view your site on their mobile device. You're not chewing up their bandwidth. You know, if somebody doesn't have an unlimited plan, every bit counts. And it's still going to look as wonderful as you want it to on the device that they're looking at it. Does that make sense? Am I going too fast? If I'm going too fast, please let me know, because I do tend to kind of do that. All right, so let me see. John says, one thing is great about Squarespace. If you really, if you know somebody's code, they can go in and change something very easily. Thank you. You are wonderful. Thank you for reminding me of that. So that is another benefit of Squarespace, is it is really easy to go in and change the code. Now you can get into the HTML on WordPress, Blogger too, to a certain degree. But the nice thing about Squarespace is, like, if you have somebody that really knows how to code, they can go dive in and do all kinds of things, instead of, like, for the other two, you pretty much have to do it on every page, and remember to do it consistently all the way throughout. Whereas with Squarespace, you can actually centralize a lot of that customization and have it just populate across. Again, it's a level that's above what we're talking about tonight as far as get one page out there so people can find you. But again, as far as future-proofing and making it useful for you long-term, so you're not, like, doing something and then, well, you want to get better. Oh, wait, we have to move. Oh, wait, we have to get better. We want to move someplace else. That's more the case for Blogger than it is for either WordPress or Squarespace. But Squarespace in particular makes it very easy for you to start off super basic and then layer on the stuff that you want when you're ready for it, how you want it, which is awesome. So yes, thank you, John, for that. So Jason says Squarespace sounds better than WordPress. In my opinion, yes. And I have tested this out with lots of different clients, and I am at the point now where I turn down work if they are insisting to stay on WordPress, because frankly, it costs too much. It costs too much from my time. It costs too much for them because I have to charge them for that time. And it sounds to a lot of people like counterintuitive. It's like, well, why wouldn't you want to charge them more? Because I don't want to charge people just for the sake of charging them. I want them to get the best benefit that they can as quickly as they can for as little as they can. I mean, this is business, right? We're all looking for that bottom line. We're looking for that profit. And you need to be able to do things and rely on them and not have to get what little money you've got coming in and then throw it right back out again. So I absolutely, without reservation, recommend Squarespace to people. But in due diligence, I have to admit, there are hundreds of thousands of people that are very happily using WordPress, and I just hope that they don't have the problems that I've seen for a lot of other people. It's just not worth it to me to go through that angst anymore with people. So that's the way it goes. If they can make more money in the end, you'll make more. Yeah, well, I mean, at that point, yes, I mean, I'm a business, so I need to charge for the goods and services that I provide. But, I'm not looking to bleed anybody dry. And if the way I look at it is if I can make you happy, either showing you how to do it yourself on Squarespace or getting you set up and then setting you free, like I've done that for several people. I have gotten them set up. We've worked through it together, like, what do you want your domain to be? Let's look at the different templates. Which one do you like? You want to try this one? And then once they were locked in and they're like, yep, this is how I want to launch, then what I did was I did a couple little tutorials and some instructions on how to go in and add your own blog posts or change your homepage or add images so that they could do stuff themselves, because that's the whole point of this. Is if you want to do it yourself and save some money, you absolutely can. But if you want to pay somebody to do it, it's not going to cost you a fortune because it's so easy. And they don't have to do things like I have to do for one of my clients. Every time they want to add a new photo, I have to then take the large, HD photo. I have to create 5 different versions of it. I have to go into the site. I have to hand code so that it loads the right one depending on the device. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of money. You go to Squarespace, you pick where you want to put it, you upload the image, it takes care of all that stuff, and when people go to see it, boom, you're all set. It just loads exactly how you want it to. And if you want to see, now I will say, my website needs a lot of help. I'm living what I'm telling you. I threw together the one page when I started to restart the show so that I would have a website, right? So the website, okay, this is what I'm talking about. When people say, where can I find you? I say, youratechcoach.net. And from there, I lead them to the other places that they want to find me on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. This is exactly what I'm talking about. It is so much easier than having to run through all the different places they can find me. It's like, here, just go here. There's a contact form. You need to ask me a question. Go there and do that. that simple. Now, if you want to see what Squarespace looks like, how it resizes and all that kind of stuff, go to that site. Go to my page. That's a Squarespace site right there. And it's, you know, it needs some love, I admit, but that's what I'm living what I'm speaking to you, right? It's better to have something out there, even if it's not the dream, and then work towards the dream. Because in the meantime, it's there. People are visiting it. Here, I'll show you. I'll go back there again. There we go. So, you know, I will freely admit I'm not in love with the way it looks, but it's out here. People can get to it. They can join the mailing list, right? They can watch the show. We're getting a little meta here. But I always post. So if somebody wants to see the show and they can't remember, you know, where to see me, they can just go to yourtechcoach.net/watch. There's my show right there. They can hit the button and watch it. I also have out here, which I thought I did. Here it is. I had many weeks, right? We've been talking about the Google Plus shutdown, so I was able to put a page up real quick. It's got all the shows where I talked about that. Oh, would be helpful if I would actually let me go back. Would be helpful if I had switched the camera. There we go. Actually, we're gonna, as punishment, I'm gonna take my picture off. So let me go back. Sorry about that. Oops. Okay, went too far back. So, like I said, it's not the most spectacular in the world. I need to work on it. But right away, the first thing, because my whole focus when I restarted the show was I wanted you folks to be able to ask me questions, give me ideas for the show. So that's why the first thing here is this contact form. Now, if you watch, you see how it resizes according to the device, right? So we can get very tiny to be on mobile devices. The tiniest mobile device you can see, or it can be Gigunda, like on this huge monitor that I have. People can go right to the mailing list. No worries. It's super easy. And by the way, if you want to join the mailing list, then you'll get updates on the shows. And I'm hoping next month to start a newsletter also. I have a watch page, right? So that way I don't have to say, well, you can go to Facebook, I'm here, on YouTube, I'm here. If people just want to check out the show, they can come right here. I tell them to go to yourtechcoach/watch, or yourtechcoach.net/watch. And the current show is always there. So they can just hit the button and watch it. And then the other thing that they can always do, because I've been talking about Google Plus, because the whole Google Plus thing has been a big deal. I've got all of the shows I did on it, so now I can send people to one spot who, you know, if they want to get caught up. All the shows I did on it, all the information that I've collected, I keep updating this. I put the links here, alternatives. My developer friends ask for information, so I put all that stuff here too. I should take my picture down again so you can see it. There you go. So this is what I'm talking about. This is, yes. Thanks, John. It took me a minute, but I did catch on. Hey, you know, that's what happens when you're running a show by yourself. It's so much easier when I'm producing for somebody else because I don't make these mistakes then. I only make these mistakes on my own show, which is how it should be. But this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm saying. I don't love this site. I'm going to keep working on it to get it to where I want to be, but I needed to have one place that I could send to everybody when I restart the show, and that's what we're talking about. You can go to any one of these that I've been talking about, right? And you can today, tonight, right now, get your one page up there very quickly. And then you can add to it, and you can adjust it, and you can fix it, and you can make it exactly what you want it to be later on. Or you can create one page and never do anything else with it because at least that one page is there. I do recommend that. Did I actually put this in here? I didn't. Okay. Let me bring up, I brought up notes because there were things I wanted to make sure that if you were going to do this, that you kept it in mind. Okay, maybe I'm going to have to work off my memory. Okay. A good thing I don't have to work off my memory. That's a very good thing. Actually, this would be even better. Whee! I knew I had all my notes in here. Okay. So, whether you're going to pay somebody to build a website for you, which is certainly an option, you know, you can have somebody custom code one for you, or a lot of people pay people to go and build it on Blogger or WordPress or Squarespace. Whatever works best for you is fine. Just make sure that you own the ID and password because you should have total control of it. Make sure that it's your credit card on there so that they can't hold you hostage when it's time for renewal, especially on the domain name. I've seen people get burned on that. Oh my God, there was a lawsuit a couple of years ago I got involved in. Not fun. I don't recommend that. So make sure your credit card, You've made the decisions, you've got the ID and password, and they are just working on it for you. The other thing to keep in mind, whether you're going to use these services or you're going to have somebody build it for you, you want to make sure that, and it's going to get a little complicated, but I'll keep it high level. You need to make sure you have what's called an SSL certificate. All you need to know is SSL and that you want it. And what that's going to do is that's going to make your site use HTTPS instead of just HTTP. The reason that's important is because Google and Bing and all the other search engines have started to flag sites that are not secure. And the way that you are secure is if you get the SSL certificate. Now, I know it sounds like I'm picking on WordPress, and I kind of am. If you use Blogger or you use Squarespace, the SSL certificate is included as part of your site. So including the free Blogger, okay, and the Squarespace paid, you automatically get an HTTPS secured site. With WordPress, and I checked around a whole lot last night to make sure this is still true, and from everything that I'm seeing is you have to pay extra for the SSL. And depending on how you do that, it can be expensive. Now, there are free SSLs, but if you're going to go with the free route, you're going to have to know how to install it, or you're going to have to get somebody to install it, which to me kind of negates the free. It's really hard. I tried to find out on the WordPress site, the WordPress.com site, if they somehow make it a checkbox that they can just add into it. They don't make that clear, which concerns me a little bit. But it is something that if you want to go that way, you could check. But just make sure that you do that, because at some point, so right now we're sort of at a low level flagging of websites. So when somebody does a search for a site and they are, they get the search results back, or if they type in your URL and go to your site, at this point, either they get a little flag in the address line, or sometimes a little page comes up saying, hey, this isn't secure. Are you sure you want to go here? That's going to amp up over the next year to the point where it's going to become alarming the way that they tell people that it's not secure. So you do want to get on top of that right away. So make sure you do that. And like I said, it's included with Blogger and with Squarespace. Right now, from everything I'm seeing, WordPress charges you extra. So you got to keep that in mind. If you are going to, if you're going to do things like, if you're going to have it built for you, also keep in mind all the things we talked about as far as the site needing to be what they call responsive, mobile friendly. It needs to resize. Now, some people will try to sell you a deal where they will build the site in 3 sizes. That means you have to update it in 3 places. That is very antiquated thinking. These days, you can build a fluid, responsive site that will work across all devices with one set of code. So please don't fall for that scam. But make sure that it really does. Make sure that it really does work across all the devices and that it is fluid and it will resize accordingly. You want to also make sure that you're putting the basics on there, right? You want to make sure that you're putting your name, your company name, your name too as proprietor, your logo. If you don't have one, you might want to think about getting it. The email address you want them to contact you at. Try, if you can, to put a form up there. It's very simple to build forms on Squarespace. Blogger, a little more complicated. Make sure you put your hours of operation if that applies. Your address, all that kind of stuff. Put all of your social links on there. Make sure that, and it's funny how many people forget to do this, make sure that you include at least a sentence or two, more if you want to, about who you are, what you do, what your services, what your benefits are, why you're better than, XYZ. Make sure that all that is there, because so many people will go through this process and then never explain to people what it is that you do. So don't forget that, because you know it, but you're trying to tell other people about it. Make sure you link to all your socials, your Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, whatever. Make sure that you've got those links there. You can just do text link, visit my Facebook site, or you can go ahead and you get the logos to do it that way too. Some of them make that easier than others. The other thing that people get confused about, so we talked about how there's basically 3 parts, right? So there's the domain. Let me go back to that. Oh, actually I have it up. Yay me. Nope, not that one. See? This doesn't happen when I produce for other people. So there's basically 3 pieces, right? So you've got the domain name, you've got the hosting, you've got the content. So a lot of people assume that once they have the domain name, that people can send emails to them at that domain name, and that's not the case. So we can get into this in great detail, but just so that you're not confused about it, just because you set up a website does not mean that you have domain email, which is what they call it. So that would be like if they sent mail to info at your URL. That's an extra service that you'd have to pay for. And Squarespace kind of offers one through G Suite. I'm not sure if Blogger does it through Gmail or not. And Squarespace, there's other ways that you can set it up. But just so you're clear, just because you bought the domain name does not automatically mean that people can email you there. And I know that people get very confused about that. Squarespace doesn't have a wait time. Usually get your site live, unlike some other hosts, which can be 48 hours. Yes, thank you. See, John just went through this process more recently than me setting up a new one. So it's all fresher in his head. Exactly. When you say live, when you upgrade and you say, I want to push this live, it goes not instantaneously because it has to hit the servers and it has to be published and all that kind of stuff. But very, very quickly you get it up there. Jason says, SSL, I don't think I have that on my site. I don't remember seeing. I can go look if you want. But yeah, the easy way to test it is just if you type in HTTPS and your URL. If the PS doesn't stay, then you don't. And you do want to think about that because that's going to be more and more of a deal going forward. They've given everybody sort of a window to kind of get up to speed on that, but that window is starting to close, like so many things with Google. Let's see. I've heard rules about Cloudflare uses that can make my site. Yes. So there are various, and you're at a slightly higher technical level than this conversation is really at. But yeah, there are free services, or if you're using Cloudflare as your hosting service, they probably have a way to do it. The question is whether or not they charge for it. So that's the nice thing about Squarespace. It's just built in, and it's not just for the year. It's always like when you get a domain through Squarespace, it's included for free for a year, and then after that you have to renew it at a cost. And it's depending on what extension you use and a couple of different things. It ranges anywhere from like $12 to $30 a year. It's not the end of the world. But the SSL is just automatically included. It's wrapped up in the price you pay annually or per month for your service. If you go to somebody like GoDaddy, they charge, it's somewhere around $250 a year for the SSL. I won't get into that. I'm assuming that WordPress makes it available, but I could not find the information or the pricing about that. So yeah, there are free ones. There are more reasonably priced ones. So you'd have to contact, if you already have your site, contact your provider, see if they offer it. If not, you'd have to go looking for the third-party ones. Your provider may help you set it up. They may not. You may have to hire somebody or to figure it out yourself. So there's all those combinations to deal with. All right, I'm just running through my notes here. So if you have any last minute questions, now is a good time to start typing because I am just about done as far as I'm concerned. Oh my goodness, have we really, I can't believe I went almost an hour again. I keep trying to shorten the show. But these are big topics, and this one is very important. So you want to have this so that you can point people to things like this, right? You want to join the mailing list. You want to get up to date about the shows. You want to be ready for the newsletter I'm going to start publishing. You go to yourtechcoach.net/mailing list, fill out the form. It's basically your email address. That's all I need so that I can send you the emails. I do use MailChimp, which uses two-factor validation. So what you do is you fill out the form here, yourtechcoach.net/mailing list. Submit that, you'll get a confirmation, and then it will ask you to verify that you've asked for this. Once you say yes, then you can start getting my emails. It's part of the whole GDPR and all that kind of stuff. Whole other show for that. But this creates, again, opportunities for your one place in the universe where you can say, hey, I just met you. You want to check my service out. You're asking me about it. Go to my domain, in this case, yourtechcoach.net, yourbusinessname.com, yourbusinessname.net, whatever you like to use. And from there, they can learn everything they need to about you and visit your social sites. And you have control over it. So let me just put this in a little bit more context for you before I wrap this up. 2 weeks ago, a week ago, right, there was the Facebook outage and everybody went, I can't do business because I only have my business on Facebook. This is why you need to have your own website. You always want people... Services are going to go down, right? Services are going to go out of business. Services are going to be acquired, by other companies that maybe you don't want to do business with. You don't have control over any of those things. All those things out there, they're important. You need to be there. You need to pick the ones that work for you. But for the days when they're down, they're under attack, they go out of business, you know, whatever happens, you want people to still be able to find you. You want people to still be able to share you. You want people to still be able to reach out to you. So you create just even a one-page website. Always reference that. Have that on your marketing materials. Make that a part of your emails. Make that put it on your receipt. If you have a store or you do invoices, make sure it's on there. And people can always go there. They can always share information about you, learn about you, ask you questions, and still get to your social. So it is the perfect combination for you. It's something you can control and all the things you can't, but together that creates your entire web presence and you've gotten control over the important part of it. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Ah, Jason, thank you. That's so nice. I'm glad that's good because I am losing my voice, but I'm glad the information's coming through. I might need your advice on what I should upgrade next, your audio or your video. Ooh, that'll be a fun conversation. We can have that conversation. Maybe not now because we've already been talking for an hour, but we can do that offline or in another show. But I would love to have that conversation. You know how much I love this stuff. All right, so I think we're all good. I don't see any other questions out there, so hopefully that is truth. I just like to double check because sometimes my tool doesn't work, but it's been pretty good lately. All right. I am sorry this went so long, but I really feel very strongly about this, as you can probably tell. So I hope that this information has been helpful for you. I hope that you will like, follow, give hearts, subscribe, do all the things in all the different places. But most importantly, I really hope that you will go and visit yourtechcoach.net because that's where I live. And I hope that we will see you again next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I do this show here on Facebook, on Periscope, and on YouTube. And then after the show, you will find me over on twitch.tv, where I'm also your tech coach, where we can continue this conversation. Jason, if you want to continue the conversation there, that's a good place to do it too. And I also rerun these shows over there too, so you can rewatch it in a multitude of places. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. If you have any questions about this, feel free to reach out. Once again, the form is there. You can also reach me on Twitter and all the other places. So feel free. Don't be shy. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm trying to do is help everybody get out there so they keep making money, keep growing their business. Have a good one. I will see you next week. Bye.